wonder why some leaders seem to be able to spend the same amount of time planning the benefit for the Humane Society and running their kids' soccer league as they do actually working from the office. And for some reason, it always seems to be the best leaders, right? It's those high achieving leaders who are getting promotions and they're getting all these awards and these accolades. And they are also the ones who seem to be able to play tennis, get their nails done. And then they end up in these random pictures of like meetings at City Hall for some reason. How are they managing to do it all? Today, we are digging into one of the most profound mind shifts that they have that allows them to be high achieving leaders and makes them different from those people who seem to just be struggling to get by, and what you can do to shift your mindset to actually mirror theirs. Now, let's think about it in terms of what you're doing today. Anytime you want to make a big shift, you want to change your identity around a specific aspect, in this case, how to become this high achieving leader. The first thing you need to do is get really clear on what you're actually doing today. What are your action steps? Now, the best way to do that is to get really specific and think about an instance where you actually went through the motions. Now, do not make excuses for yourself. Don't say that this or that was a one off because you are going to discredit the actual actions that you took. And when you discredit them, you aren't able to see the growth that you want to see. So be really in integrity with yourself and think about the last project or initiative that you led and how the steps to get it done actually happened. Now, for many people that I talk to, it looks something like this. You identify that there's a big change or a big project that needs to occur, right? You explain how important it is to the team that we get it right. You give some sort of detailed list of everything that needs to be done. Maybe you even create the whole project plan for the team. Then you set up meetings so that you can get updates on the progress. Then you check in for those progress updates before the meeting so that you feel really prepared when you're in them. Then you monitor all of the details and how everything's going to make sure that everything is running smoothly. You don't want to have anything slip through the cracks, right? And then you make sure that you get all of the reports. You become this filter for any sort of report, presentation, communication that goes out so that you are able to edit all of them. And again, just make sure that no balls get dropped, nothing falls through the cracks. There is nothing that gets past you. Then you make sure that your boss is incredibly prepared for any conversations that they might be having with their peers, with senior leadership. And then you encourage your team throughout to just keep working so hard, right? You're making sure that they don't make any mistakes and you are encouraging them for all of that hard work that they're doing. And then at the end, you get to the point that it is successful, or at least it's done, right? The measure of success might be a little bit of a variability there, but it is done. And you celebrate with the team and you treat it like it was this complete team effort. Now, sometimes that actually becomes like a project in and of itself, right? We have to start pitching things for budget. We have to start planning the cake. We have to start making sure that there's decorations and that we do it at a time that everyone can accommodate and all of that. So it's almost like you start this mini project too. Now, that whole time, how are you feeling? If you are like so many people and you did go through all of those steps, how are you feeling when you get to that point? Again, if you're like many people, you are silently resenting the fact that you're celebrating your team when you were the one who had to touch every single piece of that puzzle. You are more exhausted than anyone else on the team, but you're the one that's making sure that they are celebrated, patted on the back, that everybody got their piece of cake, right? So, why does that happen? Do you just take it for granted that this is what leadership is? This is how it's supposed to be. This is why they pay me the big bucks after all. Now, I want you to consider, where that actually comes from, right? Where was your focus in all of that? How did you create that feeling? Because it didn't just happen to you. It wasn't just some circumstance that made you feel that way. You actually created that feeling for yourself. Because where your focus goes, your actions will follow. And so, if you were so focused on making sure that every single ticky tacky piece got completed, then your actions would go in to touch every single piece. Likely your team didn't ask you to be there. Likely your boss didn't say that you had to be in every aspect of it. And if they did, it's more than likely because you've created this pattern around it. So, where you focus, your actions will follow. Now, if that sounded familiar, then I want you to know that you are not alone. 95% of managers and supervisors who are leading those projects, leading those initiatives, they are doing it that exact same way. They are managing the tasks, they are focusing on each and every single thing on the list that needs to get done. But when you do that, you run out of time to actually lead the people. So you're spending so much time on each of these tasks, touching each and every single detail that even with a team, it feels like you're doing all of the work yourself. Now, remember, leadership is guiding someone along the way, meaning you have others with you who are able to advance those tasks. They are able to actually take that ball and run with it based on your leadership. They need you to be out ahead of them because that is how they know where to go. Now, what does it look like to be trying to manage those tasks and leading your people at the same time, touching every single piece? That is what those 95% of managers and supervisors are doing. And I want to show you why it is so painful at the end, why you get to that end of the project and you are just in excruciating resentment over your team and your boss and everyone else who is a part of it. It's because you are trying to bring a tidal wave of effort to something that needs a consistent flow of water. So, what that looks like is you trying to be the wave, but then you fall. Be the wave, and then you fall. And then be the wave, and then you fall. And so you get to the point that you recognize that there's things that are important, right? We talked about lots of things, but we talked about the kickoff, right? We need everyone to know how important it is that this project gets done. We need everyone to know that they play a very important part in it. And we need everyone to know how critical accuracy is going to be. So we bring the energy, we bring the presence, we are up at that time. And at that time, you are probably happy. You are probably living in this high wave. Whoops, yay, right? You've got your little smiley face there. You are thrilled because you are in such a high energetic state. And you know that when you get to reporting, you are going to need to be there again because you are going to be the one who has to read into that. You are going to be the one who has to make sure that everything is of quality and everything is right. So, what has to happen in between? You can't sustain that level of intensity the whole time. And we live in this culture now that says, don't, don't hustle all the time. Don't get too intense. And so, what are you going to do? This little happy version of you is going to go down. It's going to go all the way down, lower than you can imagine, right? And that version of you is sad, sad panda. So here we are, unhappy, frustrated, maybe crying a little bit down there because there's just so much work. And now you are looking up, you are seeing that there is another wave that needs to take place, but you took your foot off the gas. And now you can't possibly get back up there except you have to find a way to do it, right? You have to find a way. And so then you get to this point and you are trying to be happy. You are trying to bring the presence, to bring the intensity, to bring that person, but it comes through as like forced. It's not inspiring your people. They aren't feeling like they need to do their best work on reporting. Now they're feeling like it doesn't matter. Jim's going to double check it anyways. Susie's going to redo everything I put in that presentation. She's going to get super intense and she's just going to redo it. And so now they aren't even bringing their best work. And then what's going to happen again? You are going to get to that point again where you are just going back down, probably even lower than you did the first time. Because now you are so low on energy. Because not only did you have to be up twice, but you had to climb that peak to bring that extra wave. And now we're not even done. I mean, I mentioned a number of things in that super simplified project plan that we walked through, but let's just pretend that this was all of it. Let's just pretend it's just these three, right? So now we have to celebrate. It is done. Well, you are trying to tell your team that they did a great job. You are trying to give them the accolades that they deserve, right? And so here you are again, trying so hard to show everyone how happy you are. And again, it's coming through super forced. And it's almost a grimace this time. It's not a smile. It's not a forced smile. It's like a let's just get through it. Let's just grin and bear all of this. Because now you have this resentment and this frustration because you were the one who put in all of this work. You were the one who touched everything. And now your team is feeling disengaged and they want to party. And that is going to bring your engagement, your performance, and all of those interactions that you have with your team and with your boss way down. That isn't what you want, right? So, how do you prevent this? How do those high performing managers, supervisors, leaders in general, how do they avoid this? Because all we tell people is that they have to be up at these times, right? So, let's get rid of this. We don't want to do this. Instead, what those high performing leaders are doing is they are riding a single wave. So they are going to kick off the whole project. That's them. This is you now. Okay. This is you as a highly effective leader. Super happy. No grimace to be found. Thrilled leader. Bringing your best to that situation. Now, what you do when you can lead at that level is you don't have to be every wave. Now, all of a sudden, we have someone on your team who is actually taking on communication, right? So now we have that person who is able to take on that workload. And then we have our next wave. And this is the person who takes on analysis, right? And then we have this next wave. And this is the person who puts together the presentations. Now we are actually utilizing every single person for what they are great at. And what you might have noticed is how much closer together all of our wave peaks are in this circumstance. So you don't have to be responsible for each peak, but now all of you are able to walk this steady line that is above all of that water, right? It is actually holding you up. So when we think about quotes like, when we raise the tide, all of the ships rise, It is because of things like this. You have actually brought that tide up and you have set expectations for all of your people to do the same. And so not only did this bring you up, but it brought up this person, oops, this person, this person, right? Oh my goodness, they all have three legs. You are bringing everyone with you. And instead of getting to the end of this project and being like, where was everybody? Why am I celebrating them when I did this all myself? Suddenly you have this whole team around you that is saying, look at what we accomplished together. Now, let's bring it back to all of those things that you're able to accomplish outside of work, right? Because now you wanted to actually, I don't know, coach your kids' little league team. You wanted to actually be a board member at that hospital and you weren't sure how other people were able to do it. It's because you're only bringing one wave to each area that you are involved in. Suddenly, instead of having to bring every single wave yourself to one situation, one project, one initiative, now you're able to take those three waves, take that energy, and actually use it to mobilize teams in all different areas of your life. Now, isn't that the type of leader that you want to be? Isn't that the type of impact that you want to have? All right, this video actually works in conjunction with the blog post from this week. So I want you to click the link below and head over there to get the full experience. And if you have any questions, if you want to understand how this could actually be possible for you and what it would look like in your circumstance, then click the link below to set up some time for a free coaching call and we can figure out what exactly that can do for you. All right. I hope that this has been helpful. And if it has, go ahead and share the information, and I will see you